It was nowhere to be found. Sorry. So, hello, can you hear me? Sorry. Okay, I think I'm live.
Yes, sir.
I'm live.
Yeah.
So let's continue. So use state, use effects. Then the next thing I'm going to do from what? From React. From React. So I've imported this file. So because I want to make use of. Now we said state because this function that we are creating, we want to get a state value using your states, abi. Then that one will now handle it well with with a state function. Then use effect will be the one that will make the browser to wait for a while, go to GitHub and fetch these people and drop it on our own what? On our own platform. Please, is that understood? So this is the URL that we are working with. Let me.
Sorry, come again. Come again.
I said use state. No, we said use state carry two parameter, which is the state and the word the function. So now we want to display a default state, abi, so that the user will know that, oh, this thing is loading. So you can just put, when you click on fetch record, show user, it shows that this thing is loading. So after it has gotten it from the API and drop it, you will see the result. So for us to handle that and display something with that is called use state. Then use effect is the one that will not pass in the async and await function that will go and what, call this particular GitHub users and display it on your what, on your browser. Now the reason why you need to do something like that is this, because of internet. Do you understand? So if there is no internet, you know that the API should not work, because this API is on the live, is on a production world.
Recording is on.
Is on a production world server. So you get, so if there's a network glitch, you can say crash. I don't know if you understand. So for the state value will not change to what, to crash. That's why we need what, use state. Do you understand now? So let me drop the URL that we are fetching from here. HTTPS. So it's going to be API api.github api.github.com /user. So like I said, we are fetching users GitHub port user. So if you can be my guest, normally API return what we called JSON file. All right, let me show you something here. What was JSON file? A JSON files are just record in what, in key and what, and values. And JSON means, you can see this is what we are fetching. You can see these are GitHub users. We are not going to see it like this. Like I said, we are fetching the username, right? We want to get the name. We also want to get the display picture. You can see these ones, they are having avatar URL, display picture, display picture, display picture. So when it comes to our browser, it will appear well. So this is what they call JSON. This is the key. Login is the key for this guy. This one, X Mobius, is what, is the value. All right, this is the key for ID. This is the word, the value. So you can see JSON file as a kind of object. You know, we did object in JavaScript, whereby you have something like a key and a word and a value. Okay, so that is the API. It means that the API is working. Now APIs normally are paid for, all right, but we have some free APIs that you can use to test run your project to see if it's actually seeing the records. So we are using this particular API. So what I'm going to do for this API now is this: I'm going to store this API inside a variable called URL. So I'm storing it inside this variable called URL. So I'll drop this API in the form of string. All right, I'm dropping the API there in a form of string. Please, are you with me?
sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All right. So the next thing we said we do after you've created something like this, you have to create a what? A component. So let's call our component const. The name of our component, let's call it API. API. Let's use a arrow components. Damn. Let's use arrow components. Um, then I have to call something like this. Please, can you give me like 1 minute? Let me turn on gen. They just take the lights. Please, 1 minute. Let me put on the gen. I'm coming back. Alright, so I'm back. Hello, I'm back. So let's continue. So now this is what I've just created. I've created my component, Abby. So inside my component, we'll carry out what we call destructuring. Alright. When you are doing destructuring, you are destructuring your what? Your use states. So const. So if you want to destructure, you pass a square bracket. Let me put it beside it, but it's not compulsory, it must be there so that you should not. So because I'm looking at users, so my state value is what? Is users. So remember I said last class the next one should be what? Set what? Users. Hope you remember this syntax. So equals to my words, my use states. So my use states now, inside each use state, because I want to collect it in the form of like an array, so I'll pass in an empty array here. All right, I'll pass in an empty array. If you actually run this by default, it will show you empty record on your browser. So it means that my state value by default is what? Is empty. Please, are we together? Hello.
Hello, sir. I'm with you, sir.
So it means that my state value by default what is an empty what? Array. Then I will now use my async and await. Remember, we said that if you have a component, you must always return words a JXX, right? So do not forget, you will always return a JXX, and a JXX is your what you want to display inside your your browser. So let me just do one or two things here before I begin to show my my record. So let's say I want to get something with h3 GitHub users, all right. So then I would have, let me put it inside a UL, but this UL I'm going to give you a class, but let me just call UL for first. So we said every UL needs what we called what? Li, Abby. Every UL need what? Li. That's what we said. So one of the Li that I want to get, which is going to be an Li. So inside there, I want to get something like the image. So I'm going to use my image property here. So I have to get my SROC. Let me put an empty. Then let also pass another one that normally come with image called ALT. So alt will also be what? Will also be empty. So the next thing I'm going to get here, like I said I want to get their ID. All right, I also want to get their what? Their ID. So if I want to display their ID, fine, but let me get their ID inside this one. But so the next thing I want to get their login words detail. Then I also want to get their URL. So let me get their login in H4, smaller than the other guy. So let's say this one is for login. Then this one, I'm going to get it in a form of anchor. I'm going to get this one in the form of what? Anchor. AL. Hello, please, can you give me 1 minute? Let me go back to the generators off. Hello? Hello? Please, I'm coming back.
Hello, sir.
Hello, sir.
So, hello? Fola, where have you been? Hello, can you guys hear me now?
Good evening, sir. I can hear you. So I was actually on holiday, so
Wow,
sorry I couldn't join the class.
wow, wow. You're welcome back. We miss you. Well
Thank
done, eh?
you.
Alright.
Thank you.
So let's continue. Let's continue. There's no time. So we are fetching the image. We are also fetching what? We are also fetching the login. Now, like we normally say in our class, since this is what I want to display on my browser, if you want it to appear, we said you have to export the what? The component, Abi. So we use export defaults, then export default, then your component's name. My component name is what? Is API. Okay, that's the name of my component. You pass your component name what? Here, API. So then where you want to display your record, this export syntax is just ex6 and ex7 syntax. It's not a real syntax. So I'll go to my index. Let me close this guy. I'll go to my index. I have to import it. So I'll say import this my variable from my what? My root. So my root presently now, I should have dot this is what is actually what? API. So for this thing to appear on the browser, I have to call that particular component, which is what? The API. Sorry, which is the API. Close and have something like this. So when you run it, you are supposed to be in a very good shape. All right. So it's telling me that module failed to run. Blah 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 stuff. Imports API. This is API. This is API. So possibly I've not saved this guy. So import React from what? From React. Import. Let me remove this because I don't need it here. So it's telling me, yeah, this thing that I pass here. let me comment it out. That's what is giving me error. So I think I should be in a very good shape. You can see what I have. This is the login. All right, this is the image will not appear. Hope you know that. So for image to appear, let's say I'm fetching image from here. Should I use this one as a case study? I want a good image. Yeah, test. Yeah, let me say I want this one to appear by default. So the image name is what? Test what? img.what.jpg. That's the image name. So I'll go straight to that particular component. I'll say import what's the image name? img1. Let me see img1 from the path. So the path is dot I have to go inside images. All right, I have to go inside images from what this is the path I'm looking at. I have to go inside images. All right, since they said I should not go inside image like that. If I call image, do they give me access to it? Image. So let me put a dot there, then images. Let me just put my part here, images. Then I have to go and call the text dot what dot img text img, sorry, text what img dot. You must pass the extension. The extension is what is jpg. The extension is what jpg. So import, let me even remove this one. Import this from, this is supposed to be from, not from this. So I think I'm in a very good shape. So inside this my guy here, remember we said if you are displaying a variable, you need to use what? A curly brace. So my variable name is what? Is img1. That's my variable name. My variable name is what? Is img1. So what am I having? So you are not seeing, it's not that I have an error, it's just that probably the path is not really what seen yet. What if I use images? I go like this. So let me see how I called some images from some of the component that we declared, so that I'll be able to get the path the way it's supposed to be like. Inside this sroc, I use image in the body. So import img from this. So I think it's correct. Import this, then I now use it by this. I'm correct. So what's the problem? So img sroc img1.
Maybe if you insert a word in that alt so that we can know if that line is working.
And that what?
In the alt,
Okay, let me see. Logo. Just pass this as an object here. It's gonna give me error like this because it's not declared. Let me refresh it. Yep. So it's I don't know why what this one is doing. It's because it was not actually properly refreshed, because it's correct. So I'm going to
okay.
set a width here. I'm going to set a width here so that it will reduce. So the width I'm going to give it like we said, we have to, let me use styling. So you can style inside it, Abby. You call your style. And for those of you that were in that class, we said you pass it twice, Abby. Twice, then you call your what, your width, then your column, then you pass in the word, the style value. So the style value I'm going to give it, let's say I give it something like 300 pixels. So you will see that that image will be smaller than it is. So by default you are seeing this. You know where this bullet is coming from, right? This bullet is coming because of this list index that you have here, li. Is that okay? So now when this thing is not running, we've not fetched any record from any API, we want this to what to show. All right, we want this to what to show. So there, remember, we need to make use of our async and await to get what the work done. So for me to use my async and await, inside the await I will pass my words, my use effects, okay, the record that I want to get. So let's come back here, please. Any questions so far? Any questions so far?
No.
All right, so let's continue. Then I'm going to set a function. Now async and await is actually a function in JavaScript. It's a built-in function in JavaScript. So you call them, I want to call it inside a function so that we use it. You know, we normally says we call something like a callback function, right? So a seek and await is one of the built-in callback function that you can make use of in JavaScript. So I'm going to declare a variable like a way I'm calling a constant. Constant, I want to fetch users, right? So I'll call it get what? Get users. So I'm calling it what? Get users equals to async. This is how you use your async. So since it's a function, it means that I need to have a bracket like this. Then I need to have a what? The arrow bracket if I'm using it as a arrow function. You can also use it as your conventional word function. All right, so I am calling const response, all right, equals to await browser. Probably if there is a network issue, wait for a while, or you are trying to fetch the record from where it is located and that particular website is not loading very well, wait. So I'm fetching what the constant. That's the constant I've declared, that variable I've declared there called what? URL. See, this record here is what I'm fetching, this one here. No, we have declared as a variable here. Everything here is not stored here. That's what I'm fetching inside what? This particular word respond. I'm setting it to what? To respond. So the next thing I'm going to use now, I want to fetch the user in a form of what? JSON. So I'm going to say const users. So the first one is to get users. So this one is my users that I'm also getting, equals to, I'm awaiting a what? I'm awaiting what is fetching from the what? From the response. All right, the response that I've passed there, that's what I'm waiting to what? To get here. So I want to get it in a form of what? JSON. Now what's JSON? I said JSON is JavaScript object word notation, and I went further to say that JSONs are records that are in form of what? Keys and what? Value. Then I said most of these APIs generally are JSON word collection. You can see I gave example of this API. This is an API that we are fetching from. You see these are into object, and these objects are inside what? Array. Okay, this is an object. From here to here is one object. From here to here is another object. Okay, so they are inside this array. This is the array here. Array started here, then array closed. Is very long. So I now said something that is in a form of what? Key. This login is the key. This monjumbo is the what? Is the value. This is the key. ID is the key. This is the what? Is the value. So when you have an array, you fetch record in. You have an array that is a JSON file. You fetch record by the understanding of what? Keys and words and value. Is that okay? So the JSON is a method. So when you are calling a method, you must pass a bracket open and words and close. Now, from what we have declared up there, remember we are using what we called use states. So if I say set states, set users, hope I will not be far-fetched. It means that I'm calling my function. So when I call my function, pass the words, pass the users forward for me inside there. So when you call the function, pass the users for me. You remember we said this is a state, this is a what? A function. Sorry, this is a what? A function. All right, that's what this guy goes with. All right, so I call this function here, then I'll pass in whatever this guy has gotten from the URL, store it inside my what, inside my function. All right, now if you want to be my guest, you can try something when this function is what, the get user function is what is called. All right, when the get user function is called, I'm using mapping to map around it. So let's say cursor inside our cursor we want to be seeing something that is going on there. That will be cursor.log, right? Cursor.log. So I want to see uh, users. So when you fetch the users inside the cursor.log, all right, display this one for user to what, to see. Then in between where this action, this guy is the one that is doing the calling. In between where this action is doing is coming, I want to, the action that I want to be going on the browser is what, use effect. I will say that use effect is a what, is a function. Promise, do you remember? Use effect is a what, a function. We did that last class. So if you want to call a use effect as a function, you call your use effect just like the way you spelled it there, use effect, then you have a bracket. This is a built-in what, function on its own. I hope that is not coming from you. This is a built-in function from on its what, on its own. Okay, so use effects, I'm passing my callback function here. Please, I hope you guys are with me. Hello.
Yes, sir.
So I'll pass my function here. This is the syntax I gave, that this is what use effect. You call your function like a callback function, then the next thing you have to pass inside there is your statement. I dropped the syntax last class. Is your statement that goes here. So the statement that I'm calling here is this function. Are you getting it? This function is the one that is getting the user from that particular what, API. So that is the statement I'm calling here. I'll just call the function here, get what, users. So get user is what I'm displaying inside this particular place. Now outside my function, when I close my function, I want to get my users in a form of what, an empty words, array. So that's what I'm passing there. Drop the record in a form of what, empty words array. Okay, so you won't get any results because I've not actually triggered my words, my user in this statement that I have here. Now if you look at this particular API, I don't know if I can show you. You notice that there are a lot of users, there are a lot of information in that particular what, API. Okay, so I can't just drop them like that. You can drop them like a JSON, which is going to display the way it is here, but it's advisable to drop them where so that the user will understand it. If this one is a person, show that this one is a person. Do you get it? If this one is if this one is this particular element or entity, show that this particular is what, this one is what, is that. You can use that one, you can get that one with your element. So with your map method, you use that to map across your stuff. So now what I want to get inside here, I said I'm getting my record. I'm getting my record in a form of a map. So for me to make use of my map now, normally I'm going to have problem here. All right, but just please pay attention to me. So what I want to do here now is this. Inside this particular syntax I'm just looking at now. Now what is my array? Everything is going inside what, users. Hello. So users are now coming in bulk, which you are seeing different record of what, of key and what, and value, right? So I'm mapping through, just like this is an object, this is an object, this is an object. Now this one is an object, this is another object, just like what I just explained earlier. All right, so if I want to get anything from here, it's going to be the array name dot what, the key. I'll get what, mojo jumbo. The array name dot what, the key. I'll get the default user. So that's what I want to what, but I want to get in the form of what, in the form of a map, a map method. A map method is just like a looping, is a way of looping. All right, it's also a way of looping, but this time around you are using advanced. You are not using your for each loop, all those kind of for loop, do while loop that you have in JavaScript. You are using an advanced loop because in this advanced loop is ES6, it's still a JavaScript syntax. So in React you'll be seeing JavaScript syntax. It's ES6 word syntax. It's not, map is not a JavaScript, it's not a React syntax. We also have reduce. Reduce is not a React syntax, it's actually a JavaScript word syntax also. Okay, so I'm going to call what I'm storing everything. I'm storing everything in users dot what dot map. You see that I have access to my map word, to my map word method. I'm having access to my map method. So this map method, I am going to, is a method. So if that means I have to pass in the form of function. So what am I passing here? I am getting the individual words user. So this one means one person inside what users. So that's what I'm getting here. So I have to pass my curly brace inside here and press what my what enter. So inside this particular users, I will destructure. All right, remember I destructure use state. If you want to destructure, what are the items inside? What item are you calling? Number one, I said I'm calling what ID. I'm calling the login. I'm also calling the what the URL, which is called, sorry, the image, which they call what the avatar. I can also call the URL if I want to call it also, but I will pass them as a form of what of the structure. This is what they call the structure in what in JavaScript. So I'll just pass my item. So I'm also calling login. So what are these login? This login is what you are seeing here. Forget about the error that is coming. This login now is what you are seeing here, which is the key. This ID is the key. So the next one I want to type now is avatar what URL. So the URL of this user, this is the key. Are you getting it? This is the what the key. Then if I want to display their image, I think there will be a place for also what image. Probably when I get, yes, this is also the what the key for this URL. All right, so that's what I want to get right now. So I've gotten login. So the next thing I'm going to get is the avatar. Please, whatever you are typing here should be available inside your API. It should be available as a key inside your API. If it's not available as a key inside your API, your API will not work. Your API will not work. All right, your API will not work. It will not be executed. So it's what they call avatar what underscore what URL. So if I want to fetch, let me first of all fetch this one first. If this don't work fine, I can also say okay, let's fetch some other things. So equals to what my single item that I've passed there, which is what user. You can see that I'm back. My program is back because this syntax is now what correct. You know, React is an active browser application. As you are writing your code, it's running. So if you have error in your code, it will show you that there's an error in your code so that you go on. And one thing that makes React to be also annoying is that if you make a single error, everything will just crash. All right, all your application, the one that is even correct inside itself, will crash. So that's one of the disadvantage of React JS. So I haven't done this now. All right, I've passed this record in this pattern. I will now return my GXS. So this GXS I'm returning here is this GXS, this guy here that I pass outside here. All right, so I'm taking it inside here. This is the record that I want to show. So where is my error now coming from? All right, my URL should be closed. My URL should be closed. Okay, I have a record here. The anchor element, this anchor element should, okay, the reason why I'm having this error is because remember we said if you're having multiple multiple item like this, you pass them inside the words inside a div. All right, so basically now this one I should have created a div here, a div, so that I'll wrap this one inside this one here, call this one out. So this one should be inside this div, unlike being outside like that. So that was one observation. So another observation again is my image. My image is okay. This
The
my
unordered list
the
doesn't
unordered
have
what?
an opening tag
My ordered
at the
does not
top.
have what? Opening tag at the top.
Opening tag at the top.
Okay. So this my UL, I should also what? Open it at the edge. Yeah, this
Before
part.
list.
Before what? This
Before
is
list.
this is what I have it here.
Okay.
I have it here. So this one is actually correct. User map, return. Then I have another word return here. Okay, I think
After that return, there should be an unordered list before list.
I'm having multiple return here. So I think that's where the error is coming from. So this is my plenty return that I have here. That's where the error is coming from. So I return this. This syntax should this one followed. So it's coming from this my multiple return statements that I have here. So I have my age get user. Where do I pass my get users? Then after the u, my get user is here. Alright, then my ul follow. Then I have this cons. I destructure my array here. uh Please give me like 1 minute. Let me off the gen. There's light. I'm coming, please. So I'm back. This is where. So my ul, I have my ul where I open my ul. Then my h3 is up here. Why did I close this one? I opened this one here. I close it here. So I was supposed to close it there. Let me bring it down. mm, 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 mm.
The closing tag of unordered list is supposed to be outside,
Mm,
and that of the
the
mm,
my div should be inside my li. This li started here. So this one should be inside. Yeah, this one should be inside my li. How many li am I having? Just one li. So this one should be inside my li.
I think you are correct, sir. But I think the only two places that's line 34, that UL, and line
34.
37 should be after line 40.
mm, should be after line 40. No, this is the close of this, Abby.
Yes.
This is close of this. Then this one, what's this one doing? Let me even see. There's a problem. The return statement is supposed to close everything. It means that this
Yes.
return statement is not close. Started here. Okay, so let me see if
And
I.
38 should come before 37.
Mm, man, where is this thing coming from? So let me debug this thing from. Let me debug this thing from here. Mm, mm. So let me execute this and see what I'm going to have. So the code contains multiple syntax error and logical word issues that prevent it from running. Mm, GitHub this. So the error is coming from. You can see the map method. Can see the map method was used here. Users. So let me just copy this syntax. So so it's having what compilation problem. Module failed from what module this export what this API export default API. So what's the problem? Const. Okay, what's this again now? So user is not what is not attributable. Map.user. User is not attributable. Type error. User is not attributable. Type error. Map.user. This is user here now. Abi? So it's telling me he's in line. He's in line 40. Line 48. Line 48. What do I have in 48? It's never up to 48. Users.map user. User is not iteratable. Someone started here. This is correct now. User is not iterable. So please let me just check the entire components. So you provide a code is derived functionality components. The code contains a bug in the way the destruction is what is done. To fix this bug, we need to adjust the destruction of user object instead of destructuring it as as an array. We should access the properties directly from the object. Here's the what is the correct code. So uh, where did I do run destruction here? Const. Oh, you see the error. I think here I went to use a curly brace. Where did I pass the curly brace? I started it here, then I end it here. In my code, what do I have? I started it. Look at it. So this is supposed to be a curly brace. It is well. Oh. So this is supposed to be a curly brace, not a square bracket. So I think I should be fine now. So I'm fine now. So you see this record that are coming that you are seeing on my browser. Hello? Hello? Is anybody
Hello,
there?
sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
So in programming, that's how it is. Oh, you must definitely encounter error, issue with error. But please, you have to be patient with the process. Anybody that will not write a code, copy it and paste it, and be telling you work on it, the person is joking. Oh, you must have issue with error. So you see this user that you are seeing on my record there, on my browser. These people are GitHub users. This is a GitHub user. This is a GitHub user. This one now, I did not write any code for image to show any image. I did not write any code to show any name. What I just did, I just fetched them from this particular words, this particular API. So that's what you are seeing on this particular place. So what you can do now, please, can I continue? Hello.
Yeah, you can.
So what you can do now is to now make this thing look nice. For example, this one that is showing you dot dot dot, you can remove it. Okay, you can move it with your normal styling method. Pass your curly brace there again. So what do we call the properties that does that? List what? List style, have you? List style. You see the way JavaScript React is doing it. List style. Then you pass in what inside here. You just put in none there. So you see that those bullets that you are seeing, you are not seeing them again. Are you getting it? Those bullets are not there again. Then if you look at again, I said I wanted to fetch another thing again. Let's say I want to fetch something like the HTML URL, because if you check this particular API, all right, they have a key that is called HTML URL. Let's see if it's actually there. Look at it here. So this HTML URL is actually to go into this person account directly. So let's see how we can do that. So I'll come in here. So first thing first, I will pass it here. All right, I hope pass the wrong thing there. What they call it, HTML underscore what URL what URL, is that what they call it on their website? HTML underscore URL. Yeah, I'm correct. So if this is okay, then I need to make this guy what available. So let me make it available inside a button. So when you click on the button, it will take you to that place. So let's use a button element here. Let's use a button element. You close this. So if I pass this thing here now, you will just see only link. Let me use anchor. Anchor will be better than this, please. Anchor, but I will now use styling to do whatever adjustments I want to do. So it's going to be having href of, that will be a curly brace of that variable, Abby. A curly brace of that variable that I have there. I'll paste the variable here. Then let's say check me. So this one is check me. So you will see that on every URL you'll be seeing check me. If you click on this check me now, you are going to this person GitHub account direct. This is the person GitHub account. You can see that this is an API fetching from this particular account. So if you don't want your record to go bananas or to crash, or for your file to go, you can also bring other property like your target. All right, your target you can call underscore what blank. You can call underscore blank. Underscore blank will work for you. So underscore blank means it shouldn't just go off like that. So you can decide to style this. Now this can be a container, Abby. Hello, this can be a container. Inside this container, how many elements are we having? Inside this container, I'm having this, I'm having this, I'm having this. So what I would do now is this: I can style it. I make it a display. All right, I can style it. I can say okay, style. So passing another bracket there again, style. So this one here, I'll give it a what will I call it now? Sorry, my property should be display. My property should be display. What my value should be what? I'm giving it a grid. All right. So the next thing I'm going to pass is a grid template what column, just like the way you write your normal stuff, your normal CSS code. Grid template what columns, grid templates, grid templates, grid template row, grid template column. Then I will set how many column that I want this guy to have. Let's say I want 3 to this appear. One F arrow, one F arrow, one F what arrow. So if you run this thing now, because look at what this thing is showing now. You see there are 3 items here. All right. You know it's not inside different divs. So if I want to make this thing to make sense properly now, I will turn them inside a div. So I'll put this one inside a div here. I'll put this one inside a div here. Where is it? Where is it? Yeah, this one I can pass it inside a div so that instead of everything to scatter like that, this is a div. Open up this. So I'll copy this one out here. I'll cut it out. So I'll come outside here. I'll close this one so that you see now everything is supposed to go together. So everything is now going together as one word, as one entity. One entity. So I only have one there, that's why you're saying it like that. Paraventure, I want to have a multiple of them. Let's say I have another div. Say I have another div inside here. Let me just see something. Okay. So it's repeating the record for me, which I don't, is not what I want to to show. Alright, let me make my grid template colon to be here. Let me remove it here. Grid template colon should be here. Then this one now, I'll remove this div. Okay. Style display. So where is the error coming from again? Is it this part? Lead style. So please, every quotation here should be in one quotation. Can't be having single then another double. So this one should be one also. This one should be one also. So outside it now, I will have this there. Something is going on here. Oh, this one was not opened yet. Okay. Style.map prop. Let me put this on, create a div here. So style it now. Style. Prop, expect a mapping from its type properties for value, not a string. Where's the mapping coming from? Mapping is coming from here. Let me just undo it and leave it the way it is. This one will be a theme for the other day. This is a CSS structure. So let me just pass it here. So the image will always go on a separate way. If it's inside here. So where is error coming from again now? Say properties not values. Style. List style. This thing is correct now. So let me just leave it like this. Yeah, let me just leave it like this. So you can see that I'm able to fetch this record. Every other error I'm having is as a result of a CSS error. I'm able to fetch this from the external words, the external API. So possibly if I want to settle down and get this thing done, I will be able to use a class to wrap it. So that what I want to achieve is that when it get 3 to be 3 per row or 4 per row. That's what I'm trying to I'm trying to achieve, not this one. Please, are we together? Hello.
Yes, sir.
Hello,
um
sir.
yes, I'm with you, Tosin. So any question?
Yes, sir. I'm with you.
So let me come back again and explain this. This one is telling me there is an error here in this style. Oh, it's saying the error is not a serious error. What's going on here? Cut it out. Hmm? So let's assume I put it inside here. Yeah, I think this one is no error again. Please always ensure. Okay, since this one is spreading like this, where is the image? So the image should be inside this div now. This thing should work like this. So the image is going separate with this is a div. The div started there, the div closed here. I have my image here. Mm, if I say one, uncle. Okay, let me just leave it like this. Fetching GitHub what users record. So if you want to change the background, do any styling, you can do that one on your CSS. But what I did just now is just an inline CSS. Probably that's why it's confusing me. Inline CSS, that's what I'm using to style it. So when you click on any of the user here, you go to the person's GitHub account directly from here. So you can see this person, this is the person's official website. You see their jobs. These are what this person has job: auto migration, GitHub services, and stuff like that. That's what this guy has done. So you notice that he's going to a blank URL is because of what I pass inside this anchor here. Target underscore what blank. Are we together? Any question, please? Question?
Yeah, I have a question.
Okay. Let me maximize the screen so that you see the code very well.
Yeah, see, from this line 24 down, I'm having issues with it.
24. Yeah,
Yeah, from line 24 down.
24. Okay. So now I know what is confusing here now is because of this map method. You know, this thing that you are fetching from this particular GitHub is actually object what array is an array. Okay, so if you want to get an object, an array like that have plenty items like that, you can't just say okay, oh, show me everything once. So you have to show them, tell the computer that you should loop through and go through those array or those objects one after the other. All right, go through all those objects one after the other and bring your result. So this line here, this part here, number one, we use this curly brace to close this, and the curly brace close here. This is where the curly brace close actually. So it started here and it closed what here. Okay, so now what you fetch now, remember your async await, your variable that you use to fetch all your record in a JSON. This is a JSON to collect JSON record. This is the method you use. We store it inside a variable called what users. So that's why I said everything in that array now they are inside these users. So I have to use the user.what.map. This map method is I'm mapping them one after the other. I'm fetching them one after the other. So I have to use what user. So user means what a single person inside the array. So that's what this user is representing. So this is like a parameter. Are you getting it? This is like a parameter that we are using to represent single individual inside that particular what array. Is that okay? Then in line 25, we now destructure. What do we destructure? What we want to collect from our what? Our object. If you check your array, if you check your array here, you will see that you are having some of all those items as a key. Remember I said you fetch record with the key. So this login is a key, ID is a key, node ID is a key, avatar URL is a what? Is a key. Do you get? So you
Yeah.
fetch record with your what? With your key. So that's why in this program we have to say, okay, oh, the structure. I want to show ID, I want to show login, I want to show avatar URL, I want to show the HTML URL. HTML representing the person's what? The person's URL. Abi? GitHub what? URL. So we now store it inside this particular
User.
parameter, which is going to be the attribute now into what? User. Do you understand? We are tying it here. So we are displaying our record inside our JavaScript, inside our what do you call it now? JSX. All right. We have already destructured it. We can just go straight and say, okay, ID, login, avatar, HTML URL inside the JSX. That's what this particular job is doing for us. Do you get it? So we now say return. Return what? GXS, right? Now this key that you are seeing here equals to ID is serving as a prop. All right. Prop is using identity to what? To identify item based on their what? Their index, one after the other. So if I didn't pass in this key here, you know that my program is
Okay.
not going to work. My program will work.
Okay.
Sorry, I'm coming. My program will work, but it's telling me that they will tell me that they need a prop to what? To work. Yes, you can say something.
Okay. Like I want to ask whether okay the work of this case to identify items.
Yes, to identify the items based on the API. You know, inside the API you have ID there now as a key.
Yeah.
So we are picking them. If you look at this API, that's why it's always good to study API before you start using them. So if you look at this particular API now, no two item have the same ID. This is ID 1, ID 2, ID 3, ID 4, ID what 7. So this ID is what they use as a unique identifier. Do you understand? To
Yeah.
differentiate from one record to another what? Another record. That's what the ID is actually what doing. So it means that I just pass this on there. So this one is just a CSS, inline CSS inside what? React. So we don't want that bullet to show. That's what we call it what? List type display of what?
Yeah.
No. So we all the record that is fetching out, we are getting inside the what? Inside a div. So that's what this one is actually doing there. We are getting it inside a what? Inside a div. Okay, I think I know where the error is now coming from. We are getting inside the what? Inside a div. So image sroc, we are showing the what? The avatar, the image that we have destructured here. That's what I now pass here. Do you get it now? Login, show the what? This login here. This is the destruction variable abi. I pass it, okay, show
Yeah.
now. Show you get. Then this other one again, the a equals to what? Href blah 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 github.com/login. So what this person is going to see here is this login that is showing here, that is going to display here. I don't know if you get. I pass the target blank there. Okay. So this one is just your normal anchor words attribute. The login, because I've collected it.
What's the work of that?
Huh?
What's the work of that rail?
Rel open main reference.
Yeah.
It's not compulsory you put it. You know, I think it was because I got the code from ZZAI. They now added it to it. So if I still remove it, my program is still fine. Do you get it? So
Okay.
that's why if you are using anything from AI, understand it. So that one is not really compulsory. So that is that about that. Are we good?
Yeah. Thank you.
Um, Tosin, are you there? Fola, are you still with us? Crespin, are you still with us? Please unmute your mic and speak out. Tosin is no longer here. Fola, are you with us? Okay, Crespin, you can talk.
Yes, I will with you today.
All right. Let me now give room for observation about our project. Crispin, how far about your project? Can you display your project for us?
So I've not gone for. You know, I told you I was having issue with my football, but now I'm back now. So
Okay.
I'm continue working on it. So I'm still where I stopped last time I
So
checked.
by next week we'll get something, are we? So is it
Yes,
next
sir.
week on Friday class?
Friday,
Yes.
officially.
Fola, are you with us? Hello. Okay. Tell me your project. How far? Do we give you a project to work on? I'm not sure she's there. Promise. Promise. I understand your own scenario, Sha. Okay. I understand what happened, but please try and do something within now and on Friday.
Okay. Yes, sir.
All right. So now, on Friday class, we'll be talking about cloud repository. So we'll be looking at GitHub. So another thing we'll be talking about on Friday class is hosting. Number one, we host our HTML CSS job online so that you can see it with you can access it anywhere you are. Then we also talk about how to host your React.js work on Netlify. So we are looking at Netlify, and we're also looking at GitHub, how to create a GitHub and send your work on GitHub. Is that okay?
Yes, sir.
So let's call it a day. I'll drop the code, every other thing that you need on the platform. Thank you very much.